Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of Arrow. And first off, can I just say that that fight scene between Thea and Andy, Diggle's brother, in the elevator was pretty awesome. There were a lot of pretty good fight scenes in this week's episode. And like I said, Andy is alive. And this whole time, Diggle has been under the impression that Hive killed his brother, but it looks like he has been under the kind of like compulsion, some kind of mystical power that Damian Dark has over him. He's been giving them some drug that allows them to just sort of fall in line and be his minions. And for the last 8 years, Andy has been working, I guess, alongside Damian Dark and his crew. And we've just found this out tonight. And so, of course, Diggle is very upset about this and he takes it really seriously. And even at the end, when he shows up to the big fight scene to try to save Andy, he really just shows up to help Oliver. He says, I'm here because my brother needs me. And he says, my brother in green. So I thought that was pretty funny. Not funny, but, pretty telling. So we also had Thea going through her still some side effects after the Lazarus pit. We all know that she has this bloodlust in her, and it's been about a month since she killed the two guys when she was in Nanda Parbat, and her body's craving some more blood, basically. And I thought the scene, though, when she was in the bar was a little ridiculous. When she's on her date, and then this guy comes up and he's like, hey, let me buy you a drink. He's like, you look like the kind of girl who, when she says no, she really means yes. And then she, like, goes crazy and starts, like, smacking the crap out of him. And I was just like, that scene was way too cheesy for me. But, at the end, she realizes that she wants to put an end to the bloodlust. And there's a scene where, they're fighting at the end, and Damian Dark comes up to her and he grabs her by the throat. But his usual power doesn't work on her for some reason. And she runs away. And so she gets in contact with her dad and she asks him to help make that permanent so that, because in that moment, the bloodlust went away for her, and also didn't work with Damian Dark. So she wants to know how she can make it permanent. So, hopefully that they'll be successful in that. We also had Ray Palmer back in this episode, and he's, I think, just trying to figure out his way. And obviously, just like Sarah in last week's episode, she had to leave because she's trying to figure out who she really is now. The same thing is happening with Palmer. And we all know, of course, that this is going to lead for Legends of Tomorrow, that they're all going to end up on that series together. So he helped out Oliver and the group in this week's episode to try to take down some of the members in the Hive organization and help get Andy into their custody. And he wore his suit and everything, and that was kind of cool. Him and Felicity had a couple of scenes. Felicity was sort of in all these scenes in this week's episode and giving her words of wisdom to everybody. So, she basically said, look, you've just come back from the dead, basically. Get back to work or get back to doing stuff that you enjoy doing. Stop moping around and sitting around doing nothing. So he kind of takes that to heart and he gets up and he helps the team out. So that was kind of good. And then, so, like I said, at the beginning, we had the fight scenes going on all over the place in this episode. Laurel, again, kicking butt, and I like it. She's really stepped up in these episodes and part of the team, and her and Thea, all that stuff is really working for me. And then, of course, we had Oliver, doing his mayoral campaign right now. He is trying to, like, do this whole, I think he's trying to save the Bay or something, or like revamp it. And there's pushback from Damian Dark, and of course this is him now putting down the ultimate, ultimatum to him. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to save the city. And I'm gonna do it in the light of day, not in the behind the shadows and everything. So it's sort of like game on to Damian Dark. So, those two are gonna go a bunch more rounds. I have no doubt about it. And I'm excited to see where it goes. At the end, Diggle confronts his brother and asks Andy if all the things that were in this file about Andy and all the bad things he was up to, or if they were true. And he looks at the file and he says, yes, they were. It's all true, the stuff that he's done. And in the episode, it's almost like he's possessed because he was even trying to kill his brother. So, obviously he's not himself. And I'm sure we're going to find out exactly what's going on there sooner than later. We also had more stuff on the island. you all know that I'm not a huge fan of the island stuff, but I'm sure at some point it's going to get very interesting and I'll be back as intrigued in that episode, in those flashbacks, as I have been in the past. But it's just not really working for me right now. It's fine, but it's just not that exciting. That's pretty much it for this week's episode. It was good. Like I said, tons of fight scenes. We had a brief scenes with Quentin Lance, but really it was just about Andy and Diggle trying to get to the bottom of how his brother has been away for 8 years and how he could stay away knowing that his son is still there and his family has been wanting to see him, obviously, if he was still alive. So pretty good episode. Diggle and Oliver obviously had some really good heart-to-heart scenes and some scenes of tension because, Diggle was just having none of it. He didn't want to support his brother in anything, but Oliver was like, look, you don't know the whole story. You got to help out your brother no matter what because he's family. So at the end of the day, Oliver was right, and now they have Andy. So hopefully they can get some good answers. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you next week.